Well, I'm a bit of an accidental banker. I didn't know what I wanted to do when I finished school. So I enrolled in a commerce law degree at Sydney Uni, which seemed pretty general at the time, and what a couple of my friends were doing, and got into it and realised that actually I was quite interested in economics and econometrics. So I ended up doing an honours year in economics and econometrics, and then was lucky enough to get a scholarship to do a master's degree in Cambridge in the UK in economics and finance. And then at the end of that, banking kind of seemed like the obvious thing to do. Hence I started applying for jobs in London, because by that point in time I had an Irish boyfriend living in London, so I wanted a job in London and landed at Goldman Sachs on Fleet Street. I was at Goldman for 21 years. Joined thinking I'd do a year or two, but ended up being there for 21. So, I learned a lot there. Goldman has a real performance culture, but also, which might surprise some people, a real culture of teamwork. Because sometimes people think of Goldman as being a bit sharp-elbowed and competitive, but actually my experience there was that there was a very strong culture of teamwork and people across the bank working together to deliver the best outcomes for the client. And that's something which really resonated with me, is the more you work across teams and businesses to draw on the right expertise to solve whatever the problem is the client's facing, the better the outcomes. Having worked at a very US-centric organisation for 21 years, I really wanted to work for an Australian company and knew Westpac as being one of Australia's great companies. Obviously Australia's oldest company, oldest bank, with long and deep client relationships. And so that was really attractive to me. It's a real privilege to work here. We've made great progress in the institutional bank over the last couple of years. And so first priority is making sure we don't lose the positive momentum that we've built, both in executing on our risk priorities, but also driving the performance of the business and the outcomes for our clients. Personally, I've spent the last 2.5 years primarily focused on the financial markets business. So I'm going to be spending time getting closer to our corporate institutional banking and global transaction services teams and clients, and making sure that I'm just as much of an expert on those as I am on the financial markets business. I'm really proud of the fact that Westpac has been the #1 lender to greenfield renewable energy projects for the last 5 years. So we are playing an important role, and that'll continue to be a focus. And we have to importantly also partner with our clients and the government to see what can we do to speed things up. Obviously, the greening of the grid to support all the renewable energy is a massive undertaking, and the infrastructure that's required to support that is very significant. And so it's going to require real collaboration across clients and government to play our role in accelerating that where we can. It needs to be inclusive in the sense that no one can be left behind. We need to be creating an economy where every individual has equal access to opportunity and can reach their full potential. And so when we think about the role we play in that, there's a lot of opportunity for us to be investing in areas which are going to help drive that sort of inclusive growth, which will benefit the broader well-being of society beyond just banking. It's really important that we can support our clients as they go offshore, and also our international clients as they come into Australia. So it's about supporting the inbound and outbound capital flows. Part of that is our distribution capabilities in the financial markets business, supporting our Australian clients in their capital raising offshore, and certainly our international offices are key to that. And so hence the opening of our Frankfurt office this year was a major milestone to be able to build out those capabilities into Europe as well as what we have out of London.